Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house for another crypto hour. Hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to get into everything, the stock market. We're going to get into the crypto majors. We're going to talk about the Clarity Act. That's looking very good right now. We're going to get into Bitcoin. We're going to get to Ethereum and Bitmine immersion and give some updates around the number one DATs there. Also, then we're going to jump into a lot of stuff around forward-looking prices for Ethereum, including moving into Pulsechain. And just the excitement of DeFi, I think, is starting to really mature and take off on Pulsechain. We're seeing a lot of really good things happening around Tokenomics. We've got more wallet options coming up, and I'm pretty excited about the wallet options because it's going to be great to have at least a minimum of 4 dedicated wallets on Pulsechain, and probably end up with half a dozen, I would say. I think that's exciting development right now, and if we're at almost takeoff time for the markets, and particularly Pulsechain, I think that's a perfect time. So very, very cool. I love it when things align, don't you? All right, if you're new to the channel, of course, don't forget to subscribe. We're on 3 YouTube channels, the Superman Crypto Show. We're on the Pulsechain X Show and also the Crypto Night Show, 3 YouTube channels, broadcasting virtually every day. And so definitely smash the likes on the way in, smash subscribe. And if you're on X, of course, don't forget to hit the follow and repost button on the post. It really helps a lot there. Get yourself in the chats as well. Say hello. Sean is in nice and early. Up only, mate. Good morning to you, Sean. Yeah, up only indeed. Obviously, we had a bit of a pullback today, but generally it's been up only in recent weeks. So we've been enjoying that. Let's jump over to the US stock market and kick it off straight away, and get yourself in the comments as well as we go. All right, so US stock futures creep higher as Wall Street falls on renewed Iran hostilities. Obviously, we get the ups and downs on geopolitics there, particularly around the Strait of Hormuz. If there's any particular things happening there, Trump gets escorts some freighters through. The Iranian IRGC guard decided to send some little attack boats and rockets and things like that, and they had to take all those out right from the couple of destroyers to take all that stuff out. And then, of course, because those are being dispatched from certain ports, the Trump administration has gone on, blowing up a lot of that stuff. So you're getting a lot of this tit for tat stuff. And meanwhile, there's some sort of one-page negotiation going on to get a list of principles and to expand it out over the next month. And of course, having at least a nuclear embargo on the table for that, because there's no deal without the nuclear issue dealt with, right? So that's kind of all in play. That's up and down. But Trump's playing it out very nicely indeed. And the more months it goes on, the worse it is for the IRGC, right? The worse it is, because oil gets shut down and it gets backlogged. They can't pay their troops. They're already having issues there. And they might end up paying with bricks like they did way back when they used to pay with bricks. I don't know. You can't feed your family on bricks. So we'll see where that all leads. In any case, the futures are a bit higher though. But the Dow Jones closed down 0.66%, 313 points to 49,600. It's just not too far away from the all-time high though, as you can see. If we look at the year chart there, it's just off the top there that we had in February. The S&P 500 though is at record highs, just coming off a little bit, down 0.4%, 28 points to 7,337. So Tom Lee's short-term target of 7,300 has been hit. Long-term target for the rest of the year, 7,700 at least. So keep a lookout for that. Nasdaq at the moment down 0.1%, 32 points to 25,806. And of course, that's basically just off all-time highs as well. So there we go. Looking pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing there. The VIX is down at 17. And if we remember, during the war, it was the worst part of the war. It was up near 30, just over 30. And now we're getting back down to risk on, right? So we're down at 17, not far away from the bottom, around 15. So game on there for markets. US dollar just up a little bit today, up at 98, sort of a place that's been sitting quite a long time there. It's a US dollar index. West Texas looking at oil. Oil's just definitely come back. In fact, if we look at let's look at the last month, for example. We've been well high on West Texas, up at $110 or so. We're now down at $95.87. So it has cooled off a little bit. That risk premium on oil definitely come back, but still got quite a way to go to get back down into the lows. And if we look at over the last year, what is that? Well, pre-war is like around about $65. Let's say 60 to 65. So we're still got a $40 up above there. So still a bit of work to do. Brent oil is getting closer to the $100 mark. It's definitely come down, as you can see. Was over 120, down to $101 there, and that pre-war that was around about $60 to $65 as well. So still got about a $35 to $40 premium sitting in the old Brent oil there. The longer it goes, of course, the more impacts it has on trade flows, which is generally probably a net bad thing for the rest of the world, not the United States, but is actually a net benefit for the United States because people start, instead of Middle East oil, they're going to get American oil, right? And Venezuelan oil and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of changes there. Obviously, there's adjustments for the oil supply, the amount of sulfur, things like that, and which refineries you can use. There's all that sort of stuff going on as well. So quite a bit of rejigging there. All the climate change countries with all the crazy Western leaders, of course, all get shown up, right? And that's pretty much it. They get shown up for the stupidity that it was always going to be. So gold right now is sitting up by 30%, $17.80 at 4,700. Having a nice little, in the yearly chart here, having a nice little rebound, but not quite yet a new higher high here. So it's got to get over essentially 4,900. So still about $200, $180, let's say, below that. Silver is up a tenth of a percent as well to $80.25. So nice getting back over $80, but still has got lower lows as well. So we'll keep a lookout for that in the future. Remember, the inflation for gold's long-term inflation's around about 1.5%. Silver's around 10%. So it is inflating in supply. And of course, that run up there is a lot of speculation, right? A lot of speculation in the run ups there. Even though it's going to be used more in high-tech technology over time, still a bit of a run up there. Copper, of course, also up at $6.16, pretty elevated. And it's always funny to see gold and copper together, because generally that you wouldn't expect them together. Gold would be more of a store value risk off type of asset would be typically the argument. And copper, of course, is a bullish economy, right? And we're seeing that in the manufacturing index over the last 4 months after 2 years of not growing above 50, and now we're above 50 the last four months, and of course that's bullish for crypto, right? So we got one of our two main indicators really kicking it off for the bull market there. So excited about that. So that is some of the stuff there. I think I read through. Trump called hitting back the Iranians a love tap. How about that? They've got to love his language there, a love tap. And of course, the Iranians here saying it was a breach of the peace agreement, which is they've already done, right? They already did breach it, but that's just the way it goes. Non-farm rate payrolls are on Friday, so that will be tomorrow. We'll have that data out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. All right, what else are we going to say about this? I think that's it. Let's jump away and go to crypto. So just a little down day, but essentially at record highs is the stock market. We've got Diamond Hand in the house there. Big thumbs up for you. Big thumbs up. And we've got Heartwood Dog as well. Always a pleasure. Good morning from Hog Family. Suitman, that's from Heartwood Dog. If you haven't checked out Heartwood Dog, it is the #1 anime series. And pretty much, I think, the only blockchain that has an anime series, and it is top notch. So if you haven't checked out Pulse of the Fallen, Chapter 1 or Season 1, definitely do that. And of course, they've got an interim series as well. The Chronicles of Hog, Andrew Tate, and Somi. No, Andrew Tate, Somi. No, Hog, Somi, and Andrew Tate. That's the way it goes. So check that out. And Season 2 is got to be pretty close. We've had lots of teasers, so it's getting there too. So big shout out to Heartwood Dog there on our necks. All right, so what else we got going? Let's do a refresh of the overall markets here on Coinbase, or CoinGecko, I should say. We're sitting at 2.722 trillion, down 1.4% today. Bitcoin just easing back a little bit, down 1.9% on the volatility, bit of profit taking going on as well. We're at $79,381, but still up 3.9% for the week. Ethereum at number 2 is down 1.9% at $2,272, up 0.2% for the week. BNB at number 4, down 1% at $636, up 3.4% for the week. XRP at $1.38, down 2.2%, up 1.1% for the week. Solana there down 0.3% at $87.71, up 4.9% for the week. So nice little move there. Tron is up 0.5% today, 34.73 cents, sitting at number 8, and up 6.2% for the week. So is the best performer, as you can see there, over the last week. Dogecoin there, which was the best performer, down 3.9% and sitting at 10.6 cents, but is down 2.6% for the week, despite X Money. X Money is supposed to be imminent for the public release out of beta, so we'll keep a lookout for that. X Money on X, of course, formerly known as Twitter. X is a cooler name, but it's much harder to say for some reason, if you get my point. It's sort of because X is part of the alphabet. I guess that's part of it. But there we go. All right. Total performance over the last 24 hours in the top 100. Well, we've got Siren, World Liberty Financial, Ondo, Dexy, and Virtuals there. Those 5 are the winners at the moment. And I will note that Ondo there is particularly interesting. It's up at 34% now because they're the ones that are the latest big move on tokenization, and done some big partnerships there with XRP as well as Visa. So big things happening there. Keep a lookout for Ondo around the tokenization, up 8.5%, 30% for the week. Overall, Tonchain there or Toncoin, I should say, for Telegram, up 100%. Amazing. Sitting at number 19 overall right now. Zcash at number 2, up 62% for the week. Sky AI up 54%. Siren up 49%. And Venus token sitting at number 96 is up 47%. So quite a few entrances in the top 100 there. Coming in and out, aren't they? That's all we can say. I'll do some honorable mentions as well. We've got Dash, Virtuals Protocol, and then Ondo after that. So Ondo is probably the most interesting one there, maybe besides Sky AI moving up there at the moment. So interesting stuff. Top gainers overall in the top 1,000. We've got B3 base. We've got Islamic Jihad coin here, and we got Nillion here as well. So those are up between 106, 49% there as well. Pretty crazy. Talking about crazy is the Australian government. We'll talk about that later on. But we've got Hexagrader in house there. Hey, gang, great to see Hexagrader. Welcome to the chat there. And Blair SM in the house as well. Hi, all. Yeah. All right. So we've got the trending overall. We've got the Lab, Wojak, and Anilian. They're trending overall on CoinGecko. So that's pretty much an overview. But let's get into some of the big news, eh? Let's get into some of the big news because it's some pretty big stuff happening right now, and you guys got excited. So this pullback in Bitcoin, not too much of a problem because we've got all these big things happening, right? All these big things happening. And the markets will catch up to the fundamentals. So let's get into it. So we talked about tokenization yesterday with Ondo, and you saw that was in the top 5. Yesterday, 4 institutions settled tokenized United States Treasury debt across borders, across banks, and across time zones on a public blockchain in under 5 seconds. Pretty amazing, right? Nobody connected it to what happened the same day at Morgan Stanley. Read them together, and the 2-tiered architecture stops being a thesis and becomes infrastructure. So this is really key. All these coordinations between traditional entities and the blockchain entities all coming together, making new infrastructure. This is a game changer, right? So really, things are on the move, guys. Things on the move. On the May the 6th, MasterCard, Ondo financed JP Morgan via its Connexus blockchain platform, and Ripple completed the first near real-time cross-border redemption of tokenized US treasuries on a public ledger integrated with interbank settlement rails. And that is the key there. That is pretty awesome. So everything is moving and integrating. Very cool. Ondo's OUSG fund. Now, we talked about Ondo the other day because they tokenized the strategy's preferred stock stretch, which means that you can now pick it up. You don't have to sign up to a broker or something like that. You can now pick it up on Ethereum base and I think Solana on chain. So you just have to get your wallet. And I do think for those specific products, you do have to add a little bit of extra information, I think. But apart from that, they are essentially a DeFi product now as well. DeFi with some CeFi. Nothing's perfect. Right? There's a lot of how much of DeFi is actually DeFi. That's another question. Right? That's another question. We've got Ondo's OUSG fund representing the short-term treasury holdings with approximately $610 million in assets. Processed the redemption on the XRP ledger in under 5 seconds. So there we go. MasterCard's multi-token network routed the instructions to Connex. Connex debited Ondo's blockchain deposit account. JP Morgan's corresponding banking delivered USD to Ripple's Singapore bank account. The entire workflow executed outside traditional banking hours. And that's really another key part, right? Ian DeBode, president of Ondo Finance, called it the first time tokenized treasuries had settled across borders and banks in near real time. That's incredible, right? That is a really turning point in the old crypto. So it was a big day in the office there. The XRP ledger was chosen for a reason that matters more than speed. XRPL tokenized assets by native issued currencies would build in trust lines that give issuers the ability to freeze, authorize, and restrict transfers at the protocol level without smart contracts. Now, obviously, we're against that in DeFi, all that sort of stuff, but this is part of this, the centralized system, usual stuff. Ondo controls who holds OUSG. MasterCard controls the routing. JP Morgan controls the fiat leg. Every node in the settlement chain has a compliance switch. The blockchain is public. The assets on it obey. There we go. The assets on it obey. All right. So on the same day, Morgan Stanley, so separate activity. On the same day, Morgan Stanley began actively testing direct cryptocurrency trading on its E-Trade platform. And many of you may have used E-Trade in the past for 8.6 million self-directed clients. So a pretty big client list there at 0.5% per transaction. So lowering the transaction fee there. The bank, compared to others offering, the bank already launched MSBT, the lowest fee spot Bitcoin ETF at 0.14% on April the 8th. So you see how they're just moving in. There's Morgan Stanley coming in. It advises clients to allocate 2 to 4% to Bitcoin. That is incredible, right? That's incredible. It plans a proprietary digital wallet for the second half of 2026. Morgan Stanley is building every on-ramp to Bitcoin and one public blockchain that has no trust lines, no issuer freeze, very important there, right? And no compliance switch as well. Another importance there is things we like in DeFi, and no admin key at the layer of its protocol. And of course, admin keys being a big topic that Richard Hart has been talking to with other members of the community. 2 public blockchains, 2 architectures. One has a freeze switch at every node. The other has none. Both are being integrated into Wall Street's plumbing on the same day by some of the largest financial institutions on the planet. So different paths to crypto. And of course, we're going to talk about this Genius Act, of course, with the stablecoin last year. Mandates freeze capabilities for stablecoins. That is a big key. I think that's for stablecoins that are over 50 million, that you've got $50 million. I think that's the minimum there. The Clarity Act classifies Bitcoin as a digital commodity because it lacks them. MasterCard is building the controllable tiers settlement infrastructure with a 1.8 billion BVNK acquisition and more than 100 partners in its crypto partnership program. We've talked about that earlier in this year as well. Morgan Stanley is building the uncontrollable tiers distribution infrastructure across ETF, spot, advisory, and wallet layers. Very important there. That's the product suite. Besant froze 344 million in USD Tether on April the 24th under Operation Economic Fury. We're talking about Iran, of course. Nobody froze a single Satoshi because nobody can. There we go. Distinction is no longer public versus private blockchain or crypto versus banks. It is controllable versus uncontrollable. Important there. That's why we love DeFi on the uncontrollable part. And both sides are now being built by the institutions that once rejected both. So apparently, they don't want control, but they want to control. And that's the usual thing. MasterCard and JP Morgan are building rails for money that obeys. Morgan Stanley is building on-ramps to money that computes. The architecture is live. Both tiers are being constructed simultaneously by the same class of institution for different purposes on different ledgers. One settles tokenized treasuries in 5 seconds with freeze switches at every layer. The other settles value in 10 minutes with no switches at all. So there we go. And there is a nice little chart of that. And this is a very much a turning point in crypto, right? So this merging, this integrating is really starting to take hold. And there's a couple of key players. These aren't the only ones, of course, that are doing it. We talked about Tom Lee and others. But this is a big deal there happening in 2 different ways, controllable, uncontrollable. That's a great chart there. So you might want to save that to your favorites. So, big things happening with the tokenized space and with the integration of TradeFi and CeFi and to some extent DeFi, right? So there we go, and the blockchain. Now, on the another front, not just tokenization and everything else like that, but we actually have the next bill. We briefly talked about the Genius Act there on stablecoins, but we've got the Clarity Act coming, right, which is essentially going to formalize all this for the banks and around yield. And of course, also the regulators and things like that. There's lots of different aspects to the Clarity Act. It's essentially that final seal of approval to the overarching kind of regulations, laws for crypto, and will cement the ability for the United States to be the leader in innovation, which they want to do, right? So a lot of the Democrats don't, but it seems like they're getting on board, some of them, with this as well. The Senate Banking Committee is set to notice a markup for the Clarity Act as early as tomorrow, with a potential Thursday vote, and that's from Eleanor Terrett reports there. So that is on the move, right? So Thursday, a vote there, so we should see that proceed in the next few weeks. Very cool. Senator Cynthia Lummis, who has been championing, one of the champions for this. The American people have made it clear America should lead the way on digital assets. Let's secure our financial future for generations to come. Let's get Clarity done now. And we can see here support for the Clarity Act crosses party lines now. And we got 72% support, 11% oppose. So it looks like we got net support, Democrats 48, Republicans 43, Independents 32. And so things are on the move there. Voters overwhelmingly favor clearer rules and consumer price protections for digital assets, and that's on the move. And so think about this. We've got the Genius Act last year. We've got Clarity coming through this year into June. And we've got all the banks already moving, right? So you see that the banks already moving. They're already buying up the big companies. They're already buying up the underlying assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. They're already building the technology out. And you can see they're ramping it up at a rapid pace, right? So it's an increasing adoption there. So all this stuff together that we've discovered is going together, and it's game on, right? It's game on. That's why, and the prices in the markets will catch up as well to all the stuff that's happening on the fundamentals. You just have to be patient with it and let it cook, let it bake. So it's pretty cool. All right, let's jump into, we've got a little bit of update here from the White House. The White House chief, crypto chief Patrick Witt, is targeting July the 4th for signed Clarity Act. Senate banking markup is this month. Now, interestingly enough, that the Genius Act with the stablecoins, the regulations have to be out about the same time, about July. And that at the latest, the Genius Act with the stablecoins has to be enacted by January next year. Remember that? So that's kind of the interesting workflow there happening at the same time. So yeah, pretty awesome. So yeah, Senate banking markup this month, full vote in June, House to follow. So we've actually got some momentum, and it's getting pretty, into the late hours of the process, but it does look like it's getting that extra push to get it happening. And he's saying this will be a tremendous birthday present for the America celebrating 250 years. So I think we're going to play this little audio. Let's go.
We're going to advance this bill out of the Senate Banking Committee this month. We're going to get it on the Senate floor. We have 4 working weeks, I believe, in June. In the Senate, we'll be able to advance that legislation, get a floor vote, and then provide enough time for the House to pass it. We're targeting July 4th. I think that would be a tremendous birthday present for America, celebrating our 250th. We're going to.
So you can see that's a pretty awesome thing. Everything's on the move, guys. Looking really, really good. And that's what we need. Now, there are other bills going through, like the Bitcoin bill and other things going through, but they're very important, but they're sort of flow on from, the Clarity Act, the Genius Act are kind of the 2 kingpins. We've already got one through already, and the Clarity Act looking very close. This means that basically the bank's going to come in a bigger way, like bigger than the big banks have been so far. It means there's over 5,000 or so banks, I think, in the United States. So, it's game on, and you could end up getting crypto bank accounts and everything else. See what I mean? Like the flow on is massive, and it doesn't take them long to ramp up into that. So the big financial banks, investment banks, are already leading the way, and then the more traditional banks as well. So keep a lookout for that. That's in the years ahead. That's why Tom Lees talks about this being a 10-year cycle, but particularly the next 18 to 24 months are going to possibly be the biggest re-rate that we've seen in financial markets. So, and that's on the back of what Trump's doing with a very good economy, not just doing demand, but actually supply as well, so that you keep that inflation down over time. And that's some of the magic. Obviously, he's got to deal with Iran right now, the nuclear threat, and the short-term shock period of that. And that's why he's playing it out in the way he's doing it at the moment. So we'll keep watching that too. All right, let's jump over to Polymarket. Polymarket now shows an 89% chance of the Clarity Act, apparently, going in. I haven't looked at it myself, but I'm just going on what year what BMNR Bulls has, and that's totally been quite right. We saw that it was up 65%, but it looks like it may have gone up quite a bit now to 89%. So I'm assuming this is correct here. Washington sentiment is shifting fast. Stablecoin compromise advancing, and that's around the yield fight, right? Senate momentum accelerating, institutions preparing for clarity, and crypto regulation finally moving. So it's always interesting to see what the banks are actually saying and what they're doing, because if they're doing something, it normally means that they're going to be okay with things and let things go. And of course, they've got this modest, or a victory with in situ stablecoins not earning a yield because they felt that would threaten bank yields. And I saw the stuff out of the White House saying it would only have a small amount impact on their banks, but I suggest you it would actually be a lot bigger. I wasn't completely convinced of that argument, but certainly, the big players would quickly move to a high yield. It's money wants its best bet relative to risk, right? Relative to risk. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff there. All right, so that's the chart there. Apparently, 89%. That's showing a picture. So it's gone up 37%. Look at that. It's just jumped 37% over that period of time. So there we go. All right. What's the period of time? Looks like maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks there, I think. Let's jump on to the next one there. JP Morgan. So I said to you, okay, so what are the banks doing? Well, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, investment banks and stuff like that are opening dozens of new crypto job positions. So it's always a good clue what advertisements pop up, right? So if you lost your job to a robot or AI, maybe there's a job for you at one of these prestigious companies. I say prestigious, but really they're little hellholes, right? Little hellholes. But yeah, I mean, I won't go into it, but yeah, working at some places like this anyway. So that's pretty crazy. So they're hiring guys. So it's game on. Bitcoin. So that leads us into Bitcoin. So those some of the major stuff happening. You can see things are on the move rampantly, and all these entities are going to pump your bags. They're going to pump your bags. Okay, that's the bottom line. So they are bringing in tons of money, and everything they do is going to pump your bags. So whatever happens, you can say thanks to your local broker. Hey, look, I don't have an account with you guys, but I just want to thank you guys for pumping my bags. It's a bit like that. All right, so let's see where Bitcoin is at right now. So Bitcoin obviously rallied all the way up on the hourly. There's the hourly chart here on Coinbase. We got up to 82,800. Very cool. And of course, we've had some profit taking, and we've come back to test support, right? So we come back to the 79.64. Remember, that was kind of our resistance zone. We couldn't get over 79,500. We're having a lot of trouble. Remember that? Now it's come back to test that zone, which we broke through. Interesting, eh? Now, obviously, there's a lot of games on with the shorters and the longs, centralized exchanges. We've had a number of liquidations like this one back here. Remember that? That was pretty brutal. It was pretty brutal. So if you'd gone long and you're getting hyper bullish, well, they decided to take you out first, right? Take you out first, and then they pump it up. Then they let it pump again. Nasty little people, nasty little market makers out there. Anyway, so you can decide what's real or not, but they look like a real trap there. Anyway, we've come back to the hourly here. We're just testing it, and we're sitting just on the orange line, which is the 200 moving hourly chart. But let's get to the more interesting charts, which is the 4 hour. That's the traders chart. And you can see right now we are on the 50 moving average there for the 4 hourly, and that is at 79,580, and that's we're just above it right now at 79,642. We've tapped it a couple of times. As Trump would say, I love tap. I just fired a few rockets. I love tap. It's a love language. Love language there. Anyway, so but that is on the 4 hourly. Let's jump over to the daily. We're looking at longer time frames now, and the daily there. While we pierce through the 200 moving average, right, the orange line. And this is even more important. That line is currently at $82,038. So getting over 82, very key. We tapped it, and it became resistance rather than going overshooting and testing it for support. It became resistance, and down we've come. And we know that we're on the hourly and the 4 hourly averages. So this would be a pretty good zone to try and defend, right? 79. We'll see what the market makers do. We also had a couple of resistance candles here earlier, back on the 27th and the 22nd. So it'd be pretty interesting if it can hold this line with those averages and the previous resistance. And that's what I was talking about, the fact that we got rejected up here, and now we've come back down after that big move. So we'll see whether we can have another attempt at trying to get over this $82,000. As I say, the fundamentals are rolling on. They're hyper bullish, and this chart is, you got to think about how it's going to impact the chart longer term. And I think it's looking pretty good. So there we go. We also have the 50-day in yellow. That's at 75,327. So we're well above that. So in terms of the Bitcoin, now remember this chart compared to Ethereum. We'll look at that next because they're kind of on the opposite sides of the averages here. And obviously this yellow line's coming up. So hopefully when that yellow line comes up and crosses over the orange line, so the 50-day moves over the 200-day, that's called a golden cross. So hopefully that's setting us up for a much longer run, right? And that's getting even more exciting there as well. So kind of cool. So that is the old Bitcoin there. Now, in terms of this, we do want to get over this orange line, right, the 200-day, because obviously we want the 60K back here to be the bottom, right? We don't want to have to go down another leg. And what would cause us to go down? Well, that's the question, right? What would cause us to go down there as well? Obviously, there's market makers, but what would actually cause us to go down? Because the amount of Bitcoin is kind of disappearing relative to the buyers that are coming in. The buyers coming in is pretty much everybody. The DATs, the ETFs, everybody's coming in. So that's the question mark there. Next week, we'll over the weekend next week will probably be the call there. We could have a Iranian deal within the week if all goes well, even if it's not, you're making a deal with terrorists, right? Basically, terrorist state. So just remember that. So when we were excited about a deal, we still realize who we're making the deal with, right? We're making the deal with the devil, basically, kind of thing. Verify, not trust, right? That's the old key. And then secondly is we've got the stretch debt product. It hasn't gone to ATM at all yet so far. So it's over 10 days, but we did have the quarterly on. We did have the talk about selling, tax benefited Bitcoin from Michael Saylor. The market's absorbing that. A lot of the market has actually been fairly favorable, but we haven't gone back to ATM yet. Will we get there tomorrow? Possibly. Will we get there next week? Should do, because it goes ex-dividend on the 15th, right? So before Friday next week, we should get ATM printing, and we should probably, even if it's really late to start ATM printing, we may get there and have some billion-dollar days. So that's what we're looking forward to next week. Certainly missed the 10.2 day mark, and it's a bit longer than that, but we had some messy sort of week this week. So we'll keep a lookout for that, and that would help get us a lot of support, because potentially it could buy tens of thousands of Bitcoin next week. So keep a look at that. And we've got the ETFs already buying. So what else do we see? We saw BlackRock's ETF flip strategy again. So it's gone back and forth because obviously there was no common stock issued at either the foot heading into the quarterly. And so we have, I think, BlackRock's ETF's gone to, I think it's over 822,000 Bitcoin now, I think is the number. And strategy sitting at 818,000, but both of them, not far away from 1 million, right? So we've got these two big corporates, the ETFs going towards big holders and well over 1.6, close to heading up towards 1.7 million Bitcoin just between those two entities by themselves. So it's a pretty crazy time. And we are supposed to be getting some digital news from the White House potentially around the Bitcoin strategy as well. So that could be coming out as well, similar in June. So we've got the Clarity Act and potentially the White House Bitcoin strategy in June. So keep a lookout for that. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, so that is the old Bitcoin. And let's quickly wrap this up with the weekly charts here on Bitcoin. And we can see that at the moment, we have got the 50 weekly moving average at 85,736. So that 82 to 86K is kind of the next zone. We want to get over that. And that'd be pretty cool. So let's see how that goes at the moment. We'll just keep tracking that over into next week. It's going to be pretty explosive. All right, let's jump over to Ethereum. Ethereum right now, this is the hourly. Obviously, Ethereum had a nice little rally too. We got all the way up to 2,424. But Ethereum's not really moving that much. Relative, we obviously have Tom Lee buying with Bitmine emission. But, it's kind of just creeping up there. And it is being eaten up slowly and surely. Just the chart's not quite looking quite as good as the Bitcoin chart, but once it goes, it's going to go really amazing. So that's kind of what we're just a slower cook there. We're all the way down to $2,282 right now, and obviously let's jump over to the 4 hourly, the trader's view, and we can see that we're just tapping once again another moving average, the 200 moving average of 2,282. So we do want to try and hold this level just like we did see with the Bitcoin on the 4 hourly. That'd be pretty cool. And then moving to the daily, further afield here, we can see that we're just above the daily as well. The daily is sitting at 2,264. So we've got the 4 hourly and the daily all giving moving average support there. And we've got the 200 moving average at 2,591. So let's just say $2,600. Now, compared to Bitcoin, remember the Bitcoin chart mentioned, we're at the top of the averages there. Here we're at the bottom of the averages. So we've still got a bit of work to do, but we are out of the worst, that orange box, and we are still over the 50-day moving average at 22464. Now, this isn't near as steep as the Bitcoin one, but we don't have any MicroStrategy stretch product that's helped us go this way, or the ETFs is as aggressive. We do have Bitmine immersion, and we do have more ETFs ramping up on here. So this is just a little bit lagged, in my view, behind the old Bitcoin. So more work to be done here. 2282. So the bottom there being 1742, way back here on the 26th of February. So we'll keep a lookout for that, and so on. So next week's going to be a pretty interesting week. Like I say, with the Iranian thing, with the Cloudy Act, and particularly with Stretch going to ATM or at the market, printing more money and buying Bitcoin, and so forth. And of course, we still have Bitmine buying up Ethereum as well, but at a reduced rate, which we're going to look at next. So don't forget to get in the chat there as well and say hello in the comments. So we've got a little video here to play, or we've got two little videos actually to play from Tom Lee. He was this is from Consensus, so this just happened. So let's talk about this. Just a few little clips. Let me mute myself and play the first one.
We crossed 1% on August 13th, 2% in September of last year, 3% in November, and we crossed 4% in early April. But I do think we're going to slow down our pace of buying. I'm not sure we want to get to 5% too quickly. We're deciding perhaps we want to accumulate at a somewhat slower pace because there's other things to be doing in crypto right now. We crossed 1%.
I had the mute on there. I apologize for that. So they're still heading towards. They've got about 5.2 million ETH. They're heading towards 6 million ETH, and so they still need about 800,000 ETH. But basically, it looks like they're going to slow down just a little bit there. They'll hit it sometime in this year. But we had it at August, but it'll probably be a little bit later there as well. Yeah, I saw you guys' comments about the mute. Yeah, I unmuted myself. I did the old trick again, but. So they're definitely, we'll probably expect not 101,000 like we've seen for the last week, ETH be bought up, but probably, maybe we'll see 60K or something like that. We'll see how that pans out. But they only need another 800K. That will cost them, I think, about 1.7 billion or so. And then they've already got 700 million. So they probably need a net, billion, maybe 1.2 billion dollars, something like that. With ETH coming back, of course, they'll be able to buy more cheaply at this price. So they'll be doing that, no doubt. And so instead of maybe hitting that target by August, September, certainly by December, he's indicated here, right? So it might take a few more months, but what does it mean? Well, you get to 5.7, 5.8, and you need 6, and it's not a lot of difference, right? So, but they are building out an ecosystem, and that's actually more important. And they've also moved up to 90% staking, and they'll probably get to 100%, is my guess, by next week if they continue that move, which is hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue. 300-400 million or something. All right, so that is a little bit of update there from Tom Lee, the #1 digital asset treasury on Ethereum, which is bringing a lot of the money in. Let's jump over to that may have an impact on BMNR stock price as well, the common stock, because that may allow the MNAV to lift up a bit. We'll be watching that too. The other big thing is the forward-looking price for Ethereum, right? I thought we might go through this as well. I thought you guys might find this interesting. It's about a minute long. I'll try to remember to unmute myself afterwards.
So as we think about Ethereum's price, I do think it all comes down to what Bitcoin does. So here's Ethereum's price ratio. I think the long-term average is the number just to think about, which is 0.048, and the 2021 high of 0.087. If I lay that to where we think Bitcoin fair value should be, which is around 250,000. The 2021 high average, for instance, would get you to 22,000 Ethereum. So at the current price of 2,300, Ethereum is cheap. And of course, as you can see, in crypto spring, in the early part of a cycle, Ethereum doesn't really move reflexively. So I think you're going to have plenty of time to buy crypto over the next few months. But again, if crypto winter has ended, by the end of this year, we're going to see some strong moves, just like we've been seeing with memory stocks currently. So as we think about Ethereum's price,
All right, I wanted to talk about this chart a little bit just so that you guys work through it. But this is Tom Lee just talking about the ETH to Bitcoin ratio. Now, some people don't like using the Bitcoin ratio, but I think it's perfectly fine regardless of the positions here. So, back in 21, the ETH to Bitcoin ratio got to 0.087%. So just round it up and think 9%. 9% ETH was worth about 9% of the Bitcoin. And so if we take that number, that's what he's going to use on the next table to work out where Ethereum could go. So at the moment, we've been around about 3.2% of Bitcoin, give or take. So where are we going to head? Where are we going to head next? Predicted ETH BTC. Now, you guys know that things have changed a lot since the 2021 bull market. We had some institutions coming in, but now we've got all the banks, everyone's flowing in, right? Infrastructure's been set up, and we know that by mid next year, there's going to be serious banking system on the blockchain, right? Using the blockchain, tokenization, stablecoins. It's going to be the world is going to be a different place, right, from what we're used to being. Retail also isn't going to be driving a lot of the markets. We've got institutions driving it, government, states, and sovereign powers moving into the game, right? So retail's going to come in, but it's probably going to be a bit later than normal as well. And so the 4-year cycle is really getting pushed out, and one would argue we're moving into a 5.5 year cycle, or something even different from that. So that's what we're going to keep out. Obviously, there's always cycles because people take profits, but we've got a major rollout at the moment happening with technology and with the banking system and moving into crypto. All right, so and we've seen that with all the examples and also all the announcements that's been coming out. I mean, it's not just one. They're not just saying I'm joining this bank. It's actually we've joined a whole consortium of companies. It's like nonstop, right? Nonstop. So it's pretty awesome. All right, so that is the first one. I just want to go to the next chart that we got. This one here is the implied fair value based on that ratio. So we took out the 2021 ratio at 9%. Well, that one there is the 2021 high, right? So around just under 9%. And so if Bitcoin, which is on this first column, is at 250K, remember, I'm going to use this one because he's highlighted it, but the power law at the moment for Bitcoin is at 200K, right? For the end of this year, 200K, which is the line before that. But let's use the 250 that it's got. So because obviously we've got the upper bound is something like 700K. So 250 seems quite reasonable. And that's how quickly crypto can re-rate. And we've got all the institutions and everything else coming in, Clarity Act, etc. So it's all pretty likely that we're going to hit numbers like this. We're already hit that second number, that 125K. Already hit that, right? So 250. Let's go up to here, and we can see that would be $21,800. So let's say 22K is the 250. So pretty awesome. Now let's say we don't even hit 250, and we hit the power law average, which is 200K for the end of this year. That's $70,500. So would you be pretty happy with that now that we're under $2,300, $17,500 by the end of the year? So if you're patient, that's kind of some of the numbers you're looking at just by the end of the year. So it's pretty impressive. Patience is really important. Just sitting back and not always switching and swapping and all that sort of stuff. Nothing against. I love Brandon's switch not swap product, but you get my point. You got to have some. You got to be able to sit there in the pocket and get your quality cryptos and sit there and just wait. You don't have to. Oh, it didn't happen this week. I didn't make a 10x. Well, you don't need to if you can get a 5x by the end of the year, right? Just have to be cool. Once you get that 5x, if you want to double it, get the 25x, you just need another 5x, right? 5 times 5, 25. So just remember that there's different ways of getting the big X's and getting financial freedom, if that's something new to you, right? Jerry's in-house, Relief Rally. yeah, it's coming. We got Derek in-house as well. Hello all, good to see Derek in-house as well. Big shout out there. And of course, a big shout out to Fast Abdul. I'm here for the tech as well. So we've got quite a few team founders in the chat. Great to see you all in the house. We've got Heartwood Dog in the house, anime series. Fast Abdul from the Liquidity Forks Ink printer and Vouch 369 coming. And we've got Derek there from one of our most innovative DeFi tokenomic projects. So big shout there with the treasury. All right, so kind of cool. So you can see some big numbers here. So let's go beyond what we think might happen this year, and excuse me. Let's talk about 2027. So 2027 we've got the power law average at 270, but let's say we go to 500k, right? Let's go to 500k. Let's just double that. Then you're looking at the 2021 year high at $43,600 for ETH. Think about that. That's like 18 months away. That's not a lot to hold on to for $43,600 an ETH. Pretty awesome stuff. Now, even if we take in the 8-year average, which is not 9%, but just under half, 4.8%, let's say, at 250k Bitcoin. Let's go to 200. Actually, 200 at the end of the year. The power law one, that would be 9,600, and 250 would be 12,000. So that's it's a pretty good range there. We know Richard Hart likes the 10,000 mark, right? Because that's what he put on this video. That was a very interesting number he gave us. 10,000. Obviously, everyone's thinking about 5K, breaking that long resistance, 5 years of resistance there for Ethereum at 5K. We break that up and away, explosive. That's how we get to some of these numbers too. Think about gold and silver and how that rally's occurred. That's way above fundamentals, right? That's a lot of spec value in there. Holds up for a while, but slowly rolls over, and we've seen that happen too. And so if we look at 500K, let's say in 27, that's 24K based on that year average. Based on the 2021 year high of 9%, that's 9% ETH value to Bitcoin, that's 43,600. But let's get into some big moon math, and let's go further afield than, say, the next 18 to 24 months, which Tom Lee's indicating is going to be probably one of the most violent or best performing periods in financial history. And of course, that's on the back of Trump's awesome economy that he's laid out and the AI intelligence boom, right? Is the payment rails. So this is probably a longer term, time frame. So we're looking, 3 to 10 years, probably 5 to 10 years out. And Tom Lee's talking about a 10-year cycle here. And not a lot of people won't want to wait around for that, depending on your age and your goals, investment goals, and everything else. But you're talking about if Ethereum is re-rated because finance is coming over to Ethereum, all right? So and mass adoption is coming to Ethereum through Mr. Beast Industries and other things like that Tom Lee's doing. Then you're talking about 62,500. So AI agents, tokenization, all that sort of stuff. You're talking about $62,500 re-rate there on Ethereum. That may all happen earlier. May happen earlier. Who knows? But just if you're looking at longer term value, could be pretty awesome. And that assumes that Ethereum gets re-rated. It's not just based on retail relativities, largely driven retail relativities of 9% on 2021 bull market, but actually a complete re-rate with institutional adoption and everything else that comes, US state, White House, etc. And we move from 9% to 25% of Bitcoin value. That means that moon math is that if we get to 250, then it would be worth $62,500. So this is where Tom Lee's getting his numbers from. But of course, if by the time we get out to anything like an ETH payment rail, which is definitely going to be the foundation laid over the next 2 years, if we get to $1 million Bitcoin, which probably the earliest that could occur is probably 2028, based on power law, maybe early 29. Then you're looking at at 25%, you're looking at $250,000 per Ethereum, right? So it's pretty exciting where this goes. And obviously, there's a certain time horizon for that, but that's pretty exciting. But in any case, I think definitely in the given what's happening infrastructure-wise, which is why we looked at that stuff at the beginning with Ondo and Ripple and Visa and things like that, all that stuff happening, Morgan Stanley doing their thing. We're now looking at a rapid re-rating, right? Because we're moving not just from speculative crypto with DeFi in it to now a banking system moving onto it, right? So it's a fundamental shift in infrastructure, and Ethereum and Bitcoin playing key roles in that. Going to be pretty exciting. All right, so that is pretty cool from Tom Lee. So I thought we'd go through that a little bit there. Let's jump over into Pulsechain, shall we? Anyone like a Pulsechain? Put your hand up. Put your hand up there. That took a little. Right, so Pulsechain, day 1,091, guys. 1,091. Isn't that crazy? We got some pretty good stuff happening here, Pulsechain. So let's quickly check this out. And we've got Pulse at the moment at 507, down 4.35% today. We got Hex at the moment is at 1250 at the moment. Yeah, 1250, down 3% today. We got Provex at the moment at 4062, down. Oh, I've got the wrong time frame on this, haven't I? What time frame on this? Oh, all-time high. I apologize for that. Daily, we've got daily one here. So we've got Pulse at the moment, 507, down 3.9%. That's correct over the last 24 hours. Sorry about that. Day 1091. Hex at the moment is at 1200th of a penny, down 6% today. We've got Provex there at 4062, down 3%. We've got Pulsex there right now, 505, down 3.7%. We've got Ink Token at the moment is at 33 cents, down 3.2%. Right now, and those are the markets. So we haven't really, not a great day in the office, but the market is down. That's pretty much it at the moment. So let's go have a look at some more stats here. Let's go to the bridge and see how that's going. Let's go have a look at the bridge value. The bridge at the moment is at $54 million, so 53.94. So $54 million, and that's given us the adjustment. So it doesn't have the Coast CSD stablecoin in there anymore, which is kind of cool. And we can see at the moment that we are down over the last day about 0.6%, but over last 30 days, about 4% in value. And you can see the chart down here at the moment. So obviously got a bit of work to turn this around. But is this the bottom? Is this the bottom around 53 mil? We'll find out in the future, I guess. Liquidity, we're going to do liquidity. Yeah, gas stats first. Gas stats, and we're at 1.1 million beats, so that's a little bit higher than normal. Normally, that we've had recently, but not too much. We got, I was at 167 pulse or 1200 to a penny for Pulsex swap right now. And then what else we got going there? The validators at the moment. Let's see what that is. So. We're up to 49,855 validators. We've had a peak of 54,000 to give you an idea there. We've got some pretty interesting numbers here. The APR at the moment for validating, 8.52% if you're doing directly. What else there? Apparently there's 1.61 trillion Pulse staked. The staking value just under 12 million bucks at the current price of Pulse. Apparently $235 required to stake at the moment. That gets you 32 million Pulse if you do it by yourself. Other than that, you can use third-party stuff like Vouch and Validator X and things like that to do liquid staking and things. And they have additional yield on there too. I was going to look at one more thing, the liquidity, wasn't I? Yeah, liquidity. So these are the main peers for Hex and that. So let's have a look at the combined liquidity there as well. So where is that? Combined liquidity. What is it? Pulsex V1, V2, grand total. So 1.1 million for Hex at the moment. Yeah, Hex on Pulsechain. That's just the main peers. You can see those 6 main peers there. 1.12 million. Pulsex at the moment is at 3.4 million. Those are the main peers there. How many are there? 7. That's the main peers at the moment. And what else? Provex at the moment is at 1.68 million. So that is bigger than the Hex one at the moment. 1.1, another $500,000. That's based on 4 main peers. And then we've got Ink Token sitting at 2 million based on 5 peers as well. So Ink here. So, the smallest pool is the PHEX based on the main peers. All right. So that is pretty much it on that. Let's go jump over to the leaderboard here. And the leaderboard right now, we got Staked ETH again. Wasn't that leading yesterday? I think it was. Anyway, it's up 9.5% right now. Let's have a look at the chart. I have a feeling it was yesterday. So the weekly candles are looking green. Look at that. Yeah, it has been the last couple of days on the move. So we're sitting at 3700th of a penny, almost 3800th. And the pulse ratio is at 509. That's the weekly candle for that. Oh, monthly candle, sorry, for that. That's 509. So looking very good is the Staked ETH one there. Let's jump away and we'll go to P Tiger on the move as well, up 17.7%. And that is at 0005,300. So let's have a quick look at that. 5,300. Yeah, nice little move here as well. So 0005,3 on the move right now for the old P Tiger. P Tiger, of course, supported by one of the Pulsechain ex-influencers, Crypto Tiger God, right? And he likes shooting guns and other things like that. bit of an action Jackson man and likes to have lots of fun. So there we go. That's out and about there. The old P Tiger on the move a little bit there, but coming from the bottom, isn't it? Let's go look at the pulse ratio. To be fair, the old pulse ratio, and we've look at those hourly charts getting pumped in the last couple of hours. Look at that. It was not a lot of volume, but then pumpity pump. I don't know. That's funny. We got 71.3 right now. We're bouncing off, 55. It's obviously a big change in the pulse ratio there recently. That's pretty much it. So that's number 2. Omega DAO. This is from Cabal King. And of course, he is one of the DeFi leaders in the old Pulsechain space. 5.76% up today. Nice little bounce there. Yesterday it was taking a bit of profit, but looks like it's back up again today. Omega DAO. We might look at this in the future. All right, how are we looking now? Pretty good on US dollars. 000193. So let's just say 0002. And it's sitting kind of, I don't know, almost in the middle, not quite, almost in the middle there. Market 192K, liquidity 32, and volume $3,800. This is a reflection token, so it does, require volume every day, but like ZKP and others, and it's ticking away there right now, and bam, bam, bam. What's it doing? Maybe 2,500 to 3,500 a day recently. Has had higher days, obviously, early on. So we'll keep a lookout for this. The pulse ratio, though, this has locking as well, so you can do up to 10x locking, I think, 10-year locking. So it has a multiplier based on how long you lock. And so the more you lock, the more the revenue you get in the terms of the tax, right? Which I think is a 5% tax, I think. 25.88 is the current pulse rate. This is a 4-hourly chart. It's currently at 25.88. Got a nice little pump there today. So that's ticking away there on Omega DAO. And now Omega DAO, you earn Hex. So we talked about ZKP in the past. You earn ProveX. This earn Hex. So you're earning out of the fees. You're earning top tier tokens. We'd consider ProveX and Hex Richard Hart cores, right? Richard Hart cores. So that's kind of what you're earning there with the Omega from Cabal King. So keep a lookout for that. We'll probably talk more about that. Maybe soon. We'll see whether we can get someone to come to us and talk. Trying to get more teams. So if you're out there and you want to get yourself, covering your project, we're always interested in covering new DeFi projects. So check us out there. All right, so we've got BBC token from an old 9-inch. That's up 5% today. We've got 9mm, our second biggest DEX. How much volume are they doing today? They're doing 432K. How much is overall? That's actually up about 100K from yesterday, isn't it? 3.3 million. Well, we're doing less volume than yesterday. We did 3.6. So it looks like 9mm's got a bit more market share today. But 9mm is up 4.8%, and it's been doing really well. It's been moving before Pulsechain. So is 9mm a leading indicator for Pulsechain? What do you guys reckon? There's a theory right there. Just put up a proposition. We got currently almost at 1.2 cents right now. It is pretty crazy. That's on the move. So let's have a look at the pulse ratio. And we've got almost at 1,600 pulse per 9mm right now. So this is the weekly candles here. So it's been up and away. In fact, we look at the daily, and that's up and away. So it's still getting a lot of love in there as well. So I don't know who that is, whether it's one player or whether it's a whole ton of people just FOMOing, but that's on the move. And they get their profit shares as well. So 9mm doing pretty well there. John Gotti, good old mate John Gotti. He's a coin launched on CoinMarketCap there, not CoinMarket, sorry, Coin Mafia, I should say. Raquel Michelle's coin listing site. That's up 3% today, sitting at 0.003147, and he's pretty badass. Look at the guy. Would you trust him with your girlfriend? Probably not, right? Probably not. Anyway, so that's up and away there, 0.00314, and had a big pump in the last week. Look at that thing go. So there we go. That is the John Gotti. Gotti, yeah. PDI printer, the world's greatest PDI printer from OG WebChef, sitting at 92 cents. That is 92? Yeah, 92 cents, up 3%. Let's have a quick look at that. That is up at the moment. Look at that chart. So having a little bounce lately. Had that big rally, remember? Those are the weekly candles, and then came back down, but seems to be having a good time right now. And I think you earn PDI, right? Earn PDI. WGP prints and auto drips PDI, yeah. So PDI getting some love there. Now we had We had Duke of Booze in the house. Cheers, everybody. And Leech says, so bullish, still patient, still love me some PDI, the ultimate ping pong coin, Lee says. It is definitely a ping pong coin. So that's the PDI there. So here's I pose a question. We'll look at it in a minute, though. We'll ask the question in a minute. I'll get there. So we had World's Greatest PDI printed from OG WebChef. We've also got Dominance paired up with Flexmas from OG WebChef. That's up to almost 3% as well. Very little volume, though, so we're going to move on from that. At least World's Greatest PDI print's got 40K volume. It's only hitting $100 on that one. It's a trap for players. And then saw some Minimio, some reason coming in at number 9. It's up 0.2% here, sitting at 4.3 cents. So Sun Mini Meal there, the big European superfood, down on the US, but the Pulse price still holding up fairly well. Look at that, fairly well there. Let's see if they've got any buy and burns operating. And we'll do greater than $1,000. Is that good enough? I think it might be. Let's see. Does anything look like a buy and burn? Maybe these 4 a buy and burn. Maybe that wallet there. How much has that got? A new wallet, 126. I don't know. It's ticking away anyway. I can't see anything too obvious there, but that is ticking away there. All right, I do need to get updated on that, and I do need to update myself. Anyway, so we've only got 9 coins that are in the green right now. Could you believe it? So 3.3 million in volume, 370,000 transactions, and we've only got 9 coins in the green. Everything else is in the red because of the down day in crypto, etc., etc. So we'll pick off a few of these worst performers just because we can. We got Zendog along with Peacock down 11.77%. ZKP, this is earning ProveX. That is down 10% today, so it might be a nice little pickup for that one. We've got SCADA down 7.5% at the moment. In fact, SCADA's had a few days down, isn't it not? Yeah, look at that, a few days down there for the old SCADA. But still chart looking pretty good, but still, where's it stop there? RSI is at 50, so I don't know. Hard to tell. Keep a lookout for that. Maybe some moving averages and stuff might help. Make an assessment about that. Tropa from James Maria down 7.4% on this pair. Teddy Bear from James Maria down 7% there as well, down a little bit there. PDC, one of the pairs at least, is down 7%. Pump Tires is down almost 7%. Most Wanted meme coin down 7% almost. So these are typically leverages on Pulse. So Pulse down, I guess they're down. Hex is down right now, 6.6%. Mafia coin at $2.58 is down 6%. Interesting, so there are people willing to take profits there. What else? True Farm is sitting at 68 cents, down 5.7% at the moment. So a lot of our better performing tokens are down slightly today, let's say. And Sparta down 5.6%, Swarm down 5%. So a lot of 5 to 7% down, with Pulse down. Probably not surprising given that 90% of the coins are down today. So not much to say about that. Maybe a few opportunities for people to pick up some of the good stuff, perhaps. ProveX kind of holding up, not too bad, down 3%. So have a quick look at that. ProveX is sitting at 6,200. Has had a low of just above 6,000, which kind of seems key. RSI is down at 41 on the daily. So it's a bit hard to call on this. We're still waiting to see. Now, one thing I wanted to look at yesterday was market cap, which I didn't. So we'll do it today. And we can see market cap there is at 78.9. And I kind of felt like fair value was 60 to 75. And it's heading back towards that. So we'll see. But maybe a market maker comes in next week. We could get hyper bullish moves on the, if Stretch starts minting major $1 billion days, then the market's up and away. You get an Iranian deal, and we've got the Genius Act flowing. There's the Clarity Act flowing. There's a lot of things next week that we could see the market really move. A relief rally, as someone said earlier. I think that was Jerry. Yeah, Jerry. That next week is probably the stars may align there a bit. So that is that. And then we got Peacock in the middle here. Peacock down 2.8%, sitting at 1.1, just over 1.1 cent. And we're expecting big things from them over the next week, right? So that is a Liberty swap. Let me let's just go to X here and find them. So those are the markets today. Not a great day in the office, but the fundamentals are looking good, essentially. I think that's where we landed there. Now, one thing I want to talk about is we've got quite a bit of news happening on Pulsechain too. So it's not just the macro market that's looking good. Pulsechain as itself is looking way better. We're getting some good DeFi launches that people have been enjoying. They've had some pretty good designs. I'm thinking of ZKP, Amiga, even who else? RH Pepe was doing okay for a little bit. So we had some good coins launch, and now we've got some heavyweights like Kraken, like Liberty Swap launching top tier DeFi. But now we're getting an expansion, right? We're getting expansion, so I'm going to talk about that now quickly. Before we do though, Liberty Swap is about to launch their big projects. Let me have a look here. Let me jump through here. All right, where we're up to? They had a post here earlier. I'm just trying to find it. Stay tuned. We've got a few updates. I haven't even read some of these, so they're all new to me. There's a post back here. Hopefully, it's not too far down because I hate doing the old scroll down. Where'd it go? They've got all these other posts. I didn't even see these ones. Where on earth did they go? 6th of May. I don't know where they were. Anyway, they have got they've got their wallet upgrade this week, and the yield product is expected as well sometime in the next week. So those are the two big launches. Last week we shipped our new wallet. The team is still working on two major updates this week. The devs are deving, staying tuned. So that's coming from them, which is pretty exciting. So that is very cool. Now, if you haven't downloaded the wallet, you should definitely check it out. So that is from Liberty Swap. That's the Kraken. That's the big protocol there. Peacock's going to flip Solana market. We like that. But let's scroll back up here. We just want to see if they got anything extra here that I want to talk about. Obviously talking about Peacock quite a bit. I think this is kind of interesting too. Wow, we can now boost our post by paying X now. Very interesting. Can't wait for the altcoin season to come back. So that's an app purchase there, apparently. That's kind of interesting. So they are doing this. But the big thing I want to talk about, in addition to what these guys are doing, which is the wallet upgrade and the yield product, which is going to be massive for Pulsechain, and hopefully we see that over the next few days, if not weekend or something, is the Alex McFurter. As you guys know, Alex McFurter. Hopefully it comes up. Hopefully Alex McFurter here. He looks like he is launching a wallet as well. Now he's the founder of Hedron and Icosa, and of course those were really super popular hex derivatives during the bear market that we had. And then he kind of went silent a little bit once. I think probably after Richard Hart was taking his position on EHEX, which caused a bit of drama with the two big developers of EHEX products, which were Alex McFurter, Dipped Catcher, and Gold Key, with the Maximus products. But he's been away working, right? So working on, I think, a data system, but also it looks like he will be forking. He's forking Rabby Wallet at the moment. So it looks like he's forking Rabby Wallet, and so it looks like we're going to have another wallet coming to Pulsechain. And the big deal is the API, data API, right? So obviously having that set up properly for Pulsechain, so we get all the right prices and in real time and all sorts of stuff, has been pretty important. We know that Liberty Swap is working on that, obviously, with the price data system indexing for Pulsechain to improve that for their wallet they just launched, right? Which should definitely go test. But it looks like we've got another Rabby wallet fork here coming from Alex McFurter, which is pretty exciting. So, Pulsechain is obviously posting a few receipts here of his process and development. He's got Cappy Wallet. He's got written on here at the moment. Don't know what the name will be, but speaking English, yeah. So he says here on the 7th, the magic of Rabby Wallet isn't in the wallet, it's in the API the bank provides to it to index all the chain's history, event metadata, internal calls, etc., which Rabby needs to do a lot of the cool things for it to be cool. Basically, it's about 100 terabytes of data for Pulsechain, constantly growing, and that data needs to be available near instantly, dynamically, with multiple integration layers for accurate simulation, not to mention redundancy. Forking the wallet itself isn't the hard part. The hard part is the APIs that make it able to do its magic. Absolutely there. Liberty Swap responded to that. That is correct. Replicating the APIs. The hard part is, sure, you I assume you are working on the forking of Rabby, which is good. Copy says, does AI give you a custom at there? I don't know. But yeah, that is cool. So does look like a peer that Alex is working on a Rabby fork. It looks like maybe called Cabby Wallet. I don't know. But when dark mode, okay, I'm fine. Also won't be this nice, he says. So it's got that some actual data. Cappy is closer than you think. So it looks like that's what it is going to be called. And he says it's closer than you think. So another wallet. Pulsechain, we got Internet Money Wallet, amazing wallet. Over 195 countries, I think, 40 chains, and always expanding. Looks like they're going to bring in the privacy API from LibertySwap into that wallet too. Have accessed Bitcoin through there as well. They share their dividends with the Time wallet, and I think they've almost up to 120,000 downloads. Amazing. KG does an amazing job there. We're great to have that, but we do need other options for other people like different things. I might like a red rose, you might like a yellow rose, and so people need the yellow roses. So this is great. We met Rabby wallet fork. We got the LibertySwap wallet coming. So we're going to have a good number of wallets. Maybe even we will get up to half a dozen of quality wallets that people can use dedicated to Pulsechain that give us proper pricing history and everything else that we always want to use, right? So I think that's pretty cool. So little sneak peeks there from Alex. Cabby's current status, he says, only supports ETH and Pulse, working on token balances pricing, 24-hour historical portfolio, sending tokens, swaps via Batias, bridging via official bridge, transaction history, approval audits, etc., treasure and ledger, etc. So he's doing a lot of work there. The DeFi tab will always be a moving target. LibertySwap, if they're interested, so obviously reaching out to them. Of course, we'd be delighted to be there. Thank you very much for your support. Kind of cool. Even Nexion getting in the mix there. Nexion, one of our innovative DeFi hubs. Hey, Alex, we kindly invite you to check our lending pools for extra yield as well. And then you got Emmett as well, Hedron native there, obviously offering yields too, high yields. Kind of cool. And of course, Liquidity Forks as well. Dual Liquidity Forks there. You could also support all MasterChef style farms as well. So lots of things there that other teams coming in on the back of that. So that's kind of cool. Alex is on the move. We'll give him a like for that. And then 8 hours ago, I think I'm going to create a secondary extension as well for Cappy. So that is cool. And then what else we got going there? 8 hours Cappy came out of nowhere. I just don't talk about things really until it's far enough along that I'm reasonably certain it's doable and a good idea. Not that things can't change, of course, like that testation extension, because I've already done it. So there we go. So that is from him. All right, so that is kind of cool. That is another wallet, guys. So if you weren't aware, you're now aware. We've got another wallet coming to Pulsechain. So we just had, obviously, LibertySwap launch. They're going to do a major upgrade of that with a lot of user feedback this week. So it's really going to get it into a really good position. And then, although I think the initial launch was pretty good, they're going to have that. And then, of course, we've got Alex McFerder coming with his Cabby wallet. And then, of course, don't forget, we've got Change Now, another one of our top bridges. Ramp Now, I should say, not Change Now. Ramp Now is doing a wallet as well. So, and that is probably not too far away, actually. Remember that Ramp Now has already made, Pulsechain accessible via fiat bridge there to 40 plus currencies. And that's pretty exciting, right? So you can go use all these different currencies to get into Pulsechain, right? So pretty cool. Buy Pulsechain anywhere. 40 fiat plus. So they're doing that. And now they've also got a wallet that's in process as well. I'm not sure what the technology, but maybe a Rabby fork as well, and we'll see. But that's coming to market also from Ramp Now, which is one of our major bridges on the Pulsechain. Pretty good, eh? So that's pretty exciting. So Internet Money, ZKP wallet, ZKX wallet there. It's all coming, guys. Cabby wallet, Ramp Now wallet. It's we're gonna have a great selections of wallets, and that's really gonna have us set up real nice. And a lot of them are done by bridges, so we've got bridges and swapping and everything else going into the mix. It's pretty exciting integrations in it on the old Pulsechain, real maturing the chain itself, which I think is pretty cool. How are we doing for time? An hour and 30 minutes, which is almost an hour and 15, which is almost our full time, almost our full time. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the coverage today. A bit of a down market, but we've had a couple of good weeks in the office. Pulsechain still trying to find the bottom, still holding over 7,000, and we're in week 7 of perhaps 8. Maybe it's going to take 12, but I'm feeling good about it. So let's look forward to Pulsechain also moving up too in the month of May, and June. So let's see where we get to there. Hope you guys have enjoyed the content. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to smash the follow. And yeah, get excited. There's a lot of cool projects doing cool stuff out there. So always give them some nice feedback, because they're working hard in this bear market, waiting for the bull to run. And I don't think we're too far away from that. So onwards and upwards. Take care, everybody. Catch you in the next one, and bye for now.